After the verdict, the victim's family got to deliver impact statements to the court. Let's hear together now from Davis McClendon's sister.
Your Honor, I can never fully explain to you the impact of the violent murder of my brother on me. However, I'm thankful for the ability to be heard and to be allowed to be a part of the court system that will prayerfully give us the justice my brother's beautiful life deserves. Davis was 12 when I was born, and his love and constant affirmations helped build my character and my confidence. I now feel the painful impact of his death on my sense of security. My security was largely wrapped up in his lifelong consistent presence at every birthday party, graduation, birth of all three of my children, every loss, being there for us when we built our home, every holiday. He was always there, no matter how big or small or inconvenient. The impact of his violent murder left my dad holding himself up on the doorframe of my back door as he uttered through tears, "Davis is dead." It knocked me to my knees, literally. The impact of the murder of my brother has sent me to my son's room every night, lying in his bed, hugging and kissing him, imagining my mom doing the same thing to my brother when he was a little boy. Fighting back thoughts that one day my son will too be murdered and taken away from me. The impact of my brother's violent murder has left me in moments of watching my kids laugh and play and feeling nothing but complete despair. There's a giant hole in rooms that are filled with family and beautiful children, and we will always feel it and always long to have Davis fill it up again. The impact of my brother's violent murder has overflowed to my young children. Their innocence was stolen as I had to explain to them that their Dee had been run over and killed, to which my 5-year-old replied, "Was Dee not on a sidewalk?" My older two were each classmates of Bud's oldest 2 children, and I taught all 3 of his children. At one time, my then 10-year-old was broken, not only for the loss of her uncle, but twice for her friend. The impact of my brother's violent murder has led me to unhealthy coping, especially around this torturous trial. It has impacted me tremendously to be forced by his inability to own up to the truth from the beginning, to relive Davis's traumatic death over and over. It has impacted me tremendously to hear the outrageous lies about Davis and his state of mind by the man who killed him. It has been physically painful to hear the enormous sound behind the power of the impact of the truck and the deafening silence of seconds before he finally hits the brakes, only to save himself from hitting trees and a gate. Then to hear his cowardly yell, explicitives at my brother's tattered dead body in some Napoleon battle cry. It will live with me all of my days. I have waited 16 months to see the body cam of the police who show up at his house. I imagine finding him broken, sitting on the front steps of his parents' home with his head in his hands, but yet we find him stone-faced, as if nothing happened. I've longed to see him take the stand and to give me some bit of remorse for the peace of my heart, but he has shown nothing until the moment that he was found guilty. Judge, the only way that the court could give justice in this case would be to take Bud's freedom to be a father, son, nephew, uncle, brother, cousin, friend, and co-worker on his terms, just as he stole from my brother Davis and all of us.
Oh, your heart breaks for this family. I know. Let's talk about it more. Let's talk about how the healing process really is just beginning. This is kind of one of those moments where the family can sort of shift their focus from the case at hand, the criminal case, getting justice there, and then focus on what's going on at home and getting the children through the days without their dad. Let me bring in someone with a tremendous amount of compassion. She does so much great work for victims. She's a law enforcement expert, Sunny Slaughter, on the show with us this hour. Good to see you, my friend. We got to talk a bit earlier in opening statements, and we didn't get to talk about this case, so I'm so happy we have you back this hour where we can really dig in. Tell us what you were thinking, Sunny, as you've been listening to these family members, and there are more. We're going to play them all so that we can take in everything, but would you speak to that healing process that begins to take a different turn after the justice system comes to a close?
Julie, it's always an honor to be on with you, particularly with these type of cases and in these moments, because your empathy and questions and your presence always comes through. You know, we both understand the weight of victim impact statements, and you know, as someone who has had to give one, who has had to listen to one in the murder of a family member, the sisters' words were so powerful from beginning to end, and how she really laid out the deep hurt of what they have experienced. But now to transition to the healing, see, the adults don't get to grieve in silence and alone, because they also have to worry about what the healing of the children who are dramatically impacted by such a grave loss of their father, their uncle, their cousin, someone who made such a difference in their lives. And as the healing journey begins, it is a very, very long journey. This is decades in the making, and when you think about the holidays as they come up and the different nuances, you know, you get moments where you can smile, but then you remember the loss. And don't forget, the trial is ended and this part is over. But Julie, you know that there are appeals, and then the family has to relive again. Right. So this is like decades worth. This is really a lifetime, because as his children go older, they won't have their father. So this is a constant reminder, but you do have to learn. You don't get over it. You learn to live with it, and you learn to live with it differently.
Oh, Sunny, I'm so glad you said that. I was going to ask you that as a follow-up. You just said it. You know, it's like you learn to carry on, right? You know, it's not that the hate, the hurt lessens in any way. It's just that, you know, you have to continue, right? You have to endure, and maybe in honor of the loved one that you love and miss so much. You know, you give it to them and you say, you know what, I'm gonna do my best to carry on and know that love will continue. Oh, Sunny, beautiful analysis from you as always. I'm so inarticulate today. I can't talk to. I'm having one of those days. We've all been there. It started this morning at 8 o'clock. I just can't find my words.
You're handling a lot. You're handling a lot.
Yeah.
But you are handling it. Notice I said you are handling it. It's a heavy weight that when you come on every morning, and we take for granted that these cases impact you. Yeah. You are human. Your humanity always comes through, and it's okay. Like you have told me, thank you for what you are doing and how you educate and lift us all up. You are great at this. This is a heavy burden, and people need to respect that. You and others can get on every day and do this and you know, still be professional, but you're human, whether you can talk or not. This is impacting you, and I recognize that, and thank you for how professional you always are in all of this.
Oh my gosh, thank you, sweet friend. That means the world coming from you. You know that I think the world of you and adore you, and we're going to continue these tough conversations. As Sunny said, you know, it hits you in the heart. It's very hard to hear these stories, and you think about putting yourself in the shoes of the people who've been so greatly impacted. Our hearts go out to Davis McClendon, his family, his children. He's got 6 kids. We're going to hear all the impact statements this morning here on Court TV Live. That was a fast verdict for the man who killed him. We'll be right back.
Sarah Boone is charged with second-degree murder after her boyfriend suffocated inside of a suitcase.
He's in the suitcase still.
There are multiple domestic violence incidents.
You two hitting each other.
Sarah.
It's my name. Don't wear it up.
He told you, Sarah, I can't breathe.
George Torres locked inside of a suitcase, begging for help.
I thought he was okay.
The suitcase murder trial. Live coverage today on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. We have several cases going on right now that we're following for you here at Court TV. So I want to let you know that we're getting ready for the jury selection to begin in Florida for Sarah Boone's case, the suitcase murder trial. That's the biggie of the week, right? We've been anticipating this since 2020. We've also got testimony resuming in the home renovation murder trial. That one also happening in Florida. The defendant is Corey Binderim, accused of murdering his client Susan Malden, who hired him to do some home repair work on her house. And apparently they got into a little bit of a dispute because the work was not completed. So that's going on. We've also got the defendant's ex-wife, Cassidy Lee, taking the stand in that one. There she is right there. So that could get really interesting. Can't wait to hear what she says. The state is expected to rest tomorrow. That's their plan. That's what they're telling us. We'll see if there's a defense presented. Stick with us as we continue updating this case for you throughout the morning. Now, I want to go back to South Carolina together, where we pulled out the biggest moments in the jealous husband murder trial. Bud Ackerman convicted of murdering Davis McClendon over the weekend. Davis had been dating his estranged wife. We've heard from McClendon's parents, we heard from his sister, and also his brother and his daughter gave victim impact statements too. Let's take a listen.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think you've done a wonderful job with this case. Thank you to the prosecutor's office, and thank you to the jurors, and all the sheriff's office. Everyone has helped with this trial. There's no way to put into words the devastation that this cowardly act has had on my family and many, many others in this community. A brother, a son, an uncle, a nephew, and a loyal friend has been stolen from so many of us. Mr. Ackerman has never shown or expressed an ounce of remorse for his heinous act. From the moment he left the mangled body of my brother lying on the side of the road to die alone, to this day, we have never heard a simple sorry or seen a tear in his eyes. Neither he nor his mother or father have ever, in the last year and a half, even had the decency to offer us a sorry or simple condolences. All that he could do was to try to protect himself. Instead of calling 911, trying to offer my brother medical assistance from his father, who was a doctor, a half-mile away. They left him dying on the side of the road and called their lawyers. Davis McClendon will never get a chance to hug his children, his family, or friends ever again on this earth. And no punishment that you could give him for his crime could ever make up from what he has stolen. But I hope and pray that he never walks free again. I hope and pray that one of my brother's children doesn't have to walk into a restaurant or a grocery store and see him standing there. That he doesn't someday get to go back to a normal life while my brother's dead and gone. I'm begging, Your Honor, to punish this poor excuse for a man to the fullest extent of the law and give him life in prison. Thank you.
I am here as a daughter who lost her father. Sorry. I never knew Bud or his wife before all of this. But I did have the great pleasure of knowing Davis McClendon, my dad. He was my protector and my biggest supporter, and his passing has left a hole in my heart that can never be filled. Every day, I think about my dad, the one...
Okay. I'll finish.
I can't.
Let me finish it. Okay.
I'm the mother of Davis's 3 children, and I'm going to finish for her. He was my protector and my biggest supporter, and his passing has left a hole in my heart that can never be filled. Every day I think about my dad, the one who would make up funny stories or come to my dance recitals or call me Blair Bear. And all I can picture is this man's face, what he did, the horrible way my dad had to die, and the fact that I will never see him again. The man who did this didn't just take my dad away. He took away every moment I was supposed to have with him in the future. My graduation, my wedding, and even the little things like hearing his voice or making him laugh. The person my mother spent 25 years with is no longer here. The person my brother used to talk to on the phone 24/7 will never be able to speak to him again. The person who used to spoil my little sister, who couldn't even be here just because she was so upset all week, she now has trouble even talking about it. The man who did this should be held responsible for what he's done, because this pain will never go away for me, Blair, and he shouldn't just be allowed to walk free and forget about it. Please make sure he faces justice for taking away someone who meant the world to me and so many others.
Oh my gosh, your heart breaks for those family members. I know it does. And I want to make a point of clarification here. When we heard Davis McClendon's mom addressing the court, and she said 6 kids now, left behind here without their dads. She was talking about the 3 that Davis, her son, has, and then the 3 that Bud Ackerman has, because he's effectively gone from their lives. So these children missing their respective fathers. And I misunderstood when I heard her say that. I thought, oh, he must have 6 children of his own. So I just wanted to clarify that. It doesn't in any way lessen what his 3 kids are going through, or how Bud Ackerman's kids have been victimized too. They're victims as well.